Hey listeners, thanks for the download. You know, I recognize that you could fill your ear holes with any number of podcasts and other interesting sound cookies, but you picked Gutsy Media Podcast, and I appreciate that. But don't stop there. Make sure you follow us on Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, Letterboxd, and YouTube to get all the content. Also, don't forget to check out GutsyMediaPodcast.com and vote for the questions for Season 3. 2 lucky winners get the gift box giveaway. But that's not what you're here for. You're here to listen to Will Kelly and I discuss the classic rom-com, The Wedding Singer, starring Drew Barrymore and Adam Sandler. We got some surprises in this episode, but I won't keep you in suspense. Because without further ado, on with the show. Did you take notes? Got notes for days.
What?
So you picked The Wedding Singer, Adam Sandler, classic Adam Sandler movie. What made you pick The Wedding Singer?
Well, number one, it was one of my favorite movies growing up. Probably still in my top 10.
I should probably preface by saying we're going to be answering the question later on whether or not this is a good movie.
Okay.
So while you say it was one of your top 10, is that like currently or back then?
I think just overall, it's one of my top 10 movies. Growing up, I loved it. And then number 2, I thought I owned it. I do not own it.
You did up renting
I
it?
went looking. Yeah, I rented it. I went looking for it, didn't have it, and I was like, son of a gun, and ended up renting it.
So I mean, you're a big music fan.
Yeah.
Is that part of the reason why you like this movie so much?
That's right. Not just music, but the fact that he's he's a singer. I'm a singer.
Are you?
I am.
You are? Okay.
For a while, I wanted to be a wedding singer because of that movie.
Really?
I was like, oh, this is great. You can go. People probably like give you free booze.
Is it? You think it's like a relevant job nowadays? You think there's still? I mean, I'm sure wedding singers still exist.
Yeah.
But do you think that's like a thing that
No.
No, right?
No.
I mean, DJs.
It's DJs. I was at a wedding once, and if ever this couple is listening, it's Elaine and Leo Soto, who they had some bomb-ass DJs, and then they had a drummer. So there wasn't a singer, but
just a drummer.
The drummer would drum to whatever they played, and it was phenomenal. It was phenomenal.
But it wasn't like a whole band. It was just a drummer.
Just the drummer.
So I'm thinking like, who's the guy from Blink-182? Because he does
Travis Barker.
Yeah, he does the drum covers on some of the popular songs.
That's right. So that was really cool. But yeah, no, I've never been to a wedding with a wedding singer. I would love to, but growing up, when this movie came out, I'm like, oh, that's it.
That's
my calling.
Are you a karaoke fan? Do you play karaoke?
I love karaoke.
Really?
You know I love karaoke.
I mean, I know you like karaoke.
You know.
I mean, like in the sense of actually going to karaoke bars and singing karaoke.
I've been to a few.
Really, I've been to one karaoke bar my entire life.
Yeah.
Where I was like, everybody's doing it. I'll do it.
Yeah.
I picked the worst song possible because it was the only song that I knew.
Yeah.
And it was such an awful, like, I'll never do it again.
The trouble with karaoke and singing is if you're drinking, you think you could sing. The more I drink, the worse I sound. So, not a good idea to karaoke bars.
So you picked The Wedding Singer, Adam Sandler.
Yep.
So this is Adam Sandler kind of right when he's starting to become big. Because he has already done Billy Madison and Happy Gilmore.
Right.
But he hasn't gone on to become like the Netflix guy.
Right. I don't think he's done Big Daddy at this point, which was another smash. And I love Adam Sandler. It's one of the reasons I picked, because I love Adam Sandler. I love his.
So this has got to be a point of contention for at least some people, including myself.
Yeah.
You loved Adam Sandler, or you love?
I love Adam Sandler.
Even now.
Even now.
Because I mean, we can both agree that he has somewhat fallen off a little bit. I mean,
what was his latest?
The
Murder Mystery with Jennifer Aniston was one of his latest, and that movie was bomb.
I heard that was good. I didn't get a chance to see it.
It's a great movie.
Hubby Halloween was probably the most popular one recently.
Yeah, that's right.
And that one has actually got pretty good reviews.
Yeah.
Uncut Gems got really good reviews, although
Yeah.
I watched it and did not like it.
See, Uncut Gems, though, is not as far as I know, is not a Happy Madison.
It is not.
And neither is The Wedding Singer. So I thought Adam Sandler wrote it. He probably, it's not. It was not written by him, not directed by him.
Well, not all of his movies, not all the movies part of Happy Gilmore or
Happy Madison.
Productions is something that he's written and directed.
No, but he has a lot of say in those movies, put it that way. This one, like I said, I thought that he had a lot of say in this movie because it's kind of him. He's an 80s guy.
Because it is part of the shared universe that he has created.
Yes.
Do you know about this?
The shared universe.
Yes.
I don't know about
it. So Avengers becomes popular, and of course everybody now has a shared universe in their movies, and they have the old Pixar thing where all the Pixar movies take place in the same universe. Have you heard that?
I've heard of that.
With Brave being a time traveler and so on. So somebody had come out, and because obviously Adam Sandler has a lot of his friends in a lot of his movies, like The Wedding Singer.
Yep.
Somebody had proposed that all of his movies take place in the same universe.
Mm-hmm.
And he's actually come out recently and embraced it and said, yes, it's true. And he plans on doing like these crossover type movies, including a Happy Gilmore 2, which was just greenlit, which I'm very excited about.
That I can't wait if that really happens.
It's a real true to life thing. So prior to Uncut Gems and Murder Mystery, you got Kevin Can Wait, you got Real Rob, you got some pretty bad The Do-Over, some pretty bad.
The Do-Over was all right. The Do-Over was pretty good.
Pixels, was Pixels a good one?
Pixels, I wasn't a fan of Pixels.
Well, you're not a fan of one of the characters having sex with Hubert, because that takes place in the movie.
No.
He hit a lull for a little while. To be honest with you, in my opinion, the lull starts at Grown Ups. I was not a fan of Grown Ups. Not a fan of Zookeeper or Jack and Jill, which Jack and Jill is my argument for people who are like, Al Pacino still has it. Al Pacino's in Jack and Jill. Okay, he does not have it anymore. He should have retired a long time ago.
Yeah.
But that's neither here nor there. We're not talking about Al Pacino. We're talking about Adam Sandler.
Let's talk about his crew. So you're talking about he has his friends that are in the movies?
Yeah, he's got the same 3 or 4 guys. I mean,
he's got a good 10.
He's got a good 10, but there's only 3 or 4 of those guys have only been in Adam Sandler movies. They're not in anything else.
Alan Covert is the lead in Grandma's Boy.
Right.
And he's been in all of Adam Sandler's movies. Adam Covert.
You're right, actually. He was in Grandma's Boy. And Grandma's Boy was an awesome movie. Yeah. And Happy Gilmore Productions.
Kevin Nealon
is...
He's been in and out of his movies.
Right.
He's a very small part in this movie. He plays the banker.
But he's a famous actor. I mean, not famous, but he's a well-known actor.
SNL. They go
back
from SNL.
Stand-up comedian. Very, very funny stand-up comedian.
Peter Dante is the guy. He's the one that everybody loves in the Sandler movies because
he plays the stoner.
Yeah. Well, some of them. He plays the stoner. He plays the gay lawyer in Big Daddy.
Yeah, it's a great movie, by the way, Big Daddy.
So those are just a few of who, and I think that's it of his crew in this movie.
Like you had mentioned, Wedding Singer actually isn't an Adam Sandler mainstay. It wasn't not written by him.
Right.
It was written and then kind of rewritten by Judd Apatow, who does not have writing credits on the movie. It was also rewritten by Carrie Fisher, legendary actress.
Star Wars.
Yeah. Who also does not have writing credits on the movie. When asked what influence she had on the script, she wanted to make the script a little more realistic when it came to the romance and when it came to the female lead. So she had a lot to do with Drew Barrymore's part, including, she said she just wrote the female lead smarter, and she said it made the movie better. But I found that to be pretty interesting that both Carrie Fisher and Judd Apatow worked on the script uncredited. The movie follows Adam Sandler, main character. He is the wedding singer.
He is, yes.
When the movie starts off, he is singing at a wedding. He's a very good wedding singer. People like him.
Yep.
He helps quite a few people, including the drunk uncle, who was played by Steve Buscemi, also in a lot of Adam Sandler movies.
Yeah. Buscemi, we missed that one.
I love Buscemi. Buscemi's awesome.
Yeah.
He's one of my favorite. Did you watch Boardwalk Empire?
I did not.
Oh my God. Great TV show. Highly recommend.
And so Steve Buscemi in the opening scene is, like you said, the drunk brother.
Right.
And he's in his feelings on the stage once he gets the mic. He's the best man.
Right.
And
he's got some
better man.
He's got some great throwaway lines in the movie.
And fast forward all the way to the end, Steve Buscemi's now a wedding singer.
Right.
So
so we have Steve Buscemi, and then there's who's the other wedding singer that's in the movie?
John Levitt. John Levitt.
He's
hilarious.
He's funny.
Ladies' night. That's my guy.
So Adam Sandler does he work at this venue?
Yeah, it seems like there is there's a venue, and if somebody gets married there, they can hire him to sing as well.
Right. I don't know if it's the only venue in town or if he works for the venue or whatever,
right.
But it's the same venue that has their own staff of people who serve and clear the tables and so on. One of those staff members is newly hired Drew Barrymore. She's just recently moved to town with her fiance, longtime fiance. No real hope of ever actually tying them out one day.
Right.
Adam Sandler is also engaged, but not only does he have a date, but it's like next week. Because they exchange some words about she's going to be serving at his wedding next week.
Yep.
He's pretty excited about it.
Yeah. Linda.
Yeah, Linda. Drew Barrymore is kind of the wholesome waitress. She's like the only character in the movie that doesn't really appear out of the 80s. Because that's the other kind of gimmick the movie is doing. Is it takes place in 1985, 84?
It's the 80s. It's the 80s. I
think they give you a date.
Yeah,
it's like August
I didn't
something.
Catch that.
But I'm pretty sure it's 1985. And then she is friends with the other waitress, played by Christine Taylor. Fox.
Yep.
From the Brady Bunch. She goes on after this movie to marry Ben Stiller. They have 2 kids, I believe.
Is that right?
Yeah.
No kidding. Now, Drew Barrymore has gone through ups and downs as far as appearance and.
I've never been a fan of hers.
But in this movie, I would. Yeah.
She's got like the weird like.
I like her in this movie.
I don't know if she's.
When I say I like her, I mean I want her.
I don't know if she has like a physical impediment, or if she's had something happen to her. But she's got like a weird kind of mouth thing where she talks out of the side of her mouth.
Yeah.
Never really done it for me.
Yeah.
Never been a big fan.
Yeah.
But anyway, so he sings. He tells the audience about his wedding coming up next week, and you find out that he's in love, and Drew Barrymore goes home to her guy, Glenn.
Fiance.
Yep. Glenn. Originally, this was supposed to be played by the same actor who plays in Happy Gilmore.
Shooter McGavin.
Yeah.
Is that right?
Same actor was supposed to play this. Christopher McDonald was considered for Glenn, but ultimately couldn't do it, which I thought would have been great.
It would have been. This guy plays a really good tool as well.
He does, but I feel like with McDonald, you like to hate him in Happy Gilmore. Like, he's funny,
right?
But you don't like him. And this guy, he just seemed like an asshole.
Yeah.
Well, the other thing I found interesting about watching this movie is, so obviously you had the Glenn and Drew Barrymore's character are engaged, and they're having hard times both because he's dragging his feet to get married, but also she obviously starts showing some interest in Happy Gilmore. Wow, and Adam Sandler's character.
Right. Robbie.
What my issue is, Glenn doesn't really come out to be an asshole until like halfway through the movie, where they kind of shoe-toe or pigeon-toe this side story of him cheating on her, just to make him out to be a bad guy, so that she isn't a bad guy for like cheating on him or showing interest in Robbie.
Yeah, I mean they say he's a Wall Street guy.
Yeah,
and you could tell he's
sleazy.
He's sleazy.
He's sleazy, but you have no real reason not to like him.
No.
Up until then.
Yeah.
So we're jumping forward a little bit, but Robbie ends up going to the wedding, his wedding. He gets stood up by Linda, who does not show up. Linda stops by the house later and has this the great exchange, the legendary exchange, where she basically says, "I don't know if I could be married to a wedding singer," and he replies with the classic line,
"Information that would have been useful to me yesterday."
Right.
Yeah.
He delivers it with a little more oomph, the Adam Sandler oomph.
Once again,
information that would have been available or whatever. What are your thoughts on the movie up to this point?
Up to the conversation where she says, "Look, you got no potential. I'm trying to get out of this town."
So I got a time machine. I go back in time to young Willie, 10, 12 years old, watching this movie. Adam Sandler gets stood up at the altar. What are you thinking?
I'm like, oh damn, this is my guy. He's a singer. I'm a singer. We need to fix this. What's gonna happen? But up to now, the movie's great. The music's great. The way they're portraying the 80s, one with the decor in the houses, the decor in the wedding venue, the colors they're using.
Yeah, that's a good point. So the movie comes out in 1994, I believe. Why do you think they decided to go back to the 80s? Or 1998, excuse me. Why do you think they decided to go with the 80s? You think that was just kind of to get the wedding singer popularity in there? Or?
Yeah, I think back then that was kind of the thing. There wasn't DJs.
Right.
DJs were just kind of coming out because the technology was just kind of coming out. But yeah, more wedding singers. Like I said, Adam Sandler's an 80s guy. So whether he was cast for this or he did have some type of input in the writing or whatever, they went back to the 80s for this. The music, let me say this. When I say I love the movie so much, I asked for the soundtrack. And I got the soundtrack on my 11th or 10th birthday. And I know all the songs by heart.
Do you know about the musical?
I do not know about the musical.
So they turned The Wedding Singer into a musical. The musical version of the movie came out in 2006 and was nominated for a Tony Award for Best Musical, Best Actor, Best Book, and Best Score.
But it's not Adam Sandler.
It's not Adam Sandler. You know? And they made a couple minor changes to the script, nothing major. But it apparently had a pretty good run on the musical Broadway.
Was it on Broadway?
It was on Broadway.
Nice.
290 performances, I think.
Wow.
This is also
it
was a big deal, man. Betty White was considered for the role of Rosie, which is the grandmother that he's giving singing lessons to, played by Ellen Dow. She's a really good actress. She's one of those actresses that's been in a bunch of things.
She was.
She
did.
She is no longer with us. But she's like you wouldn't be able to tell her by name, but if you saw her, you'd be like, oh yeah, I know her.
Right.
This is also the first of 3 movies to see Drew Barrymore and Adam Sandler act opposite each other.
Yeah.
Second one
must have been 50 First Dates.
50 First Dates, 2004. And the third one...
Blended?
Let's 2014. Go. Good, look at you.
Let's go.
Did you see Blended?
I did.
Really? Was it good?
Yeah. Sure it was.
I feel like you were hesitant there.
Look at Adam Sandler, like I said, Little Nicky, back when it came out, I love any Adam Sandler movie I'm going to love because I love the Sandler humor.
I like Little Nicky.
He has his own humor. He throws little things into movies where I'm like, it's only funny to him and maybe his crew, but it's funny to me too.
Honestly, I think Big Daddy is the pinnacle of his career. That was such a great movie, such dry humor. Yeah. It pulls on the heartstrings. Yeah. I wipe my own ass. I mean, what other movie, a kid saying I wipe my own ass, really just makes you tear up a little bit.
Right.
But anyway, so Linda leaves him at the altar. He is now a heartbroken shell of a man.
Yeah. And,
I mean, really, the middle part of this movie, there isn't much happening.
No.
He's trying to recover from Linda. At the same time, Julia, played by Drew Barrymore, and Glenn are kind of going through rough patches. Adam Sandler's character, Robbie, and Julia become very close friends.
Yeah.
Because he's helping her plan for her wedding.
Right. Finding photographers, florists.
Cake, the whole 9 yards.
He knows the town.
They have the great scene where his buddy is the limo driver.
Yes.
And they tell him he's got to basically try out to be the limo driver for her.
Yeah.
And they put him through his little course in the parking lot. That was pretty good.
Yeah.
But ultimately what ends up happening is the two of them spend so much time together, they kind of hit it off.
They hit it off.
And they like each other.
Yeah.
Although neither one of them will admit it.
And then, meanwhile, her cousin, I believe they're cousins, is also in this group of trying to plan. And she starts pretty much she is...
it's Holly,
she's a
played by
skank.
Christine Taylor. Yeah.
She's skank in the movie, but she goes, oh, this guy's cute. Let me try to get with him. So there's that part of it, too.
So she goes on a date with him. he is kind of less than interested in her and shows a lot of interest in what Julia is doing that night. And that's where, the four of them go out together, and Julia gets drunk, goes off to the bathroom with Christine, Holly.
Now she's getting drunk because she doesn't. At this point she has feelings for Sandler's character, and she doesn't want to see him with anyone else.
Right.
He's all like zoned in on her because he doesn't want to see her with anybody else.
Yeah, he's definitely more composed about it than she is.
Yeah.
She's getting slothed, and he doesn't. He's just kind of playing cool.
Yeah.
So they go off to the bathroom, and that's when him and Glenn have this exchange where Glenn's basically like, "Yeah, I'm banging other chicks on the side."
Hotter and younger.
That's
right.
Which is just completely because
#goals.
This has got to be one of those movies like we've mentioned before, where you can't really scratch the surface too much, because at what point in time would a guy randomly come out to a dude he just met and doesn't really seem to show much interest in, and be like, "Oh yeah, I'm totally sleeping around on her with all these other chicks."
Yeah, he kind of coaxed him.
Yeah, oh, but doesn't take much.
10 years ago, how about 10 days ago? Yeah.
So this gives Robbie the fuel to kind of try to get her to move on, to leave Glenn. Although he doesn't really push it that hard because she's happy.
Yeah.
And that's kind of where he's at is he goes to the bar with his buddies and basically says like he's a scumbag, but she's happy and I'm not going to do anything.
Who am I to break up?
They convince him to go over there and break it up, but he doesn't do it. Meanwhile, she's at home trying on her wedding dress, calling herself, Julia Hart, which is his last name.
Yeah, Julia Gulia, and then realizes that sounds ridiculous.
Right.
Yeah,
that's Glenn's last name, Glenn Gulia.
Julia Gulia.
So Julia and Glenn decide they're gonna fly off to Vegas to get married. Robbie finally gets the idea that he's gonna go to Vegas to stop the wedding. They all wind up on the same plane.
Yep.
Along with Billy Idol. Are you a Billy Idol fan?
I besides White Wedding, which I've karaoke'd a few 3 times. Besides White Wedding, wasn't really into Billy Idol.
But like you understand the importance of Billy Idol in the music history.
Yeah. He's kind of let's say he was a trailblazer in kind of punk rock or.
Yeah, I mean he was definitely before our time. Is he still alive?
Billy Idol's still alive.
Is he still jamming out?
I don't know that.
He's gonna be like quasi-retired, I would imagine.
I don't know.
Anyway, he stands up in front of everybody on the plane and confesses his love to Julia. The plane kind of rallies around him along with Billy Idol, and they throw Glenn into the bathroom. And
well, he has no idea they're on the same flight. He's telling everybody in first class, because that's the only ticket that was left, that this is what's happening. And like you said, everybody at one point is rallied around him. Stewardess comes in and says, "This guy is over here. He just asked me to join the Mile High Club," and she quotes something that Glenn said earlier when they were on the double date, as far as being a grade A piece of meat or something like that. So Adam peeks through, or Robbie Hart peeks through the curtains and sees that it's them, and he's like, "Holy shit, they're here. This is them."
And then confesses his love, and that's really the wrap up of the movie. Is that the two of them go off into the sunset together. They have their wedding, and that's where you see Steve Buscemi as the wedding singer there.
You missed the fact that he on the plane he busts through he gets on the PA and starts singing a song that he wrote on the way to the airport for her about. And they quoted a few times in the movie about growing old. Like, I want to find somebody to grow old with. Right. And the song is Growing Old With You. Now, that song, in my life, plays all sorts of importance. That song was...
So why is that an important song to you?
That song, like, I had the soundtrack, so I knew the words. I probably watched the movie enough before I had the soundtrack that I knew the words by heart.
Wait, so you knew the song prior to the movie?
The song came out in the movie.
Oh, okay.
And I had watched the movie enough before I even got the soundtrack.
Gotcha.
To learn all the words, and I probably have sung that song 50 times to each girlfriend I've ever had.
Really?
Yeah.
Why? Why is that song?
Because it's beautiful. It's beautiful, and there's comedy in it. It's Adam Sandler, and it worked for me. Yeah.
Do you think that that being a part of your life or part of your relationships adds to your love of the movie?
Oh yeah, definitely. That song that he wrote at the end and he busts through, and I'm a child. I'm 11, 10, 12 years old.
Oh, even currently.
I'm still a child, yes. But yeah, I love that part of it.
So we race through the plot because one, there's not much of a plot. It's your standard love story movie, sappy, blah blah blah, with some comedy sprinkled in. But also because I feel like the real debate is going to start now.
Yeah.
You love this movie. Before we answer the question of was this a good movie?
Okay.
Let's go through the questions.
Yeah. I'm ready.
3 questions to help us determine was this a good movie.
Mm-hmm.
Question number 1. What was the message of the film, and do you agree with it?
I think the message in the film was don't jump to settle down. Don't jump to get married or get hit, whatever. Explore a little bit. There's more than just the one person the first time you met them. There's more fish in the sea. Really find that person you have the connection with and nail it from there. Okay. And I do agree with it. Yes, I do agree with it.
So kind of on the same line that you just said, I think the message of the film is kind of your stereotypical love triumphs over all. Mm-hmm. True love. Yeah. True love is going to triumph over all. These two people were with the wrong people. They found each other and la-di-da.
Right.
Do I agree with it? Yeah, I think for the most part, if you have some love, you can get through some pretty dark shit with that. But let's see how it plays out the rest of these questions. Number 2, how did the movie leave you feeling, and do you think it was intentional?
How did the movie leave me feeling? It left me feeling inspired.
To be a wedding singer.
To be a wedding singer. Not to go find true love, because I have true love.
Okay. And do you think this was intentional? Was it be inspired?
Yeah, of course. Just like any movie,
Well, don't say any movie. Schindler's List doesn't really inspire people.
Most movies, you want to turn it off and you want to feel good about what you just watched or whatever message they were trying to portray to take with you.
All right. Yeah, I guess the movie, how did it leave me feeling? It left me feeling... I don't know. It was funny, a comedy. I don't really feel any certain sort of way, and I think that was intentional. I don't think Adam Sandler has much thought in his movies as far as leaving you with a lasting message. It's more just to break away from reality for an hour and a half.
Agreed. Let me say this though on the same topic, and I've done this 3 times with you, and you've done it as many. How many? What number of podcasts is this?
This has got to be episode 26, something like that.
So, watching movies and taking notes and kind of analyzing things ruins movies.
I disagree. Here's
in my opinion.
That's a really good comment to make. I've had several guests on the podcast. Most recently, when we did Resolution at the start of season 2, where I'll watch a movie and not like it. Mm-hmm. And then I do research on it, and I do the deep dive, and I really look into interviews and behind the scenes and so on and so forth. And I actually get more of an appreciation for a movie and realize, this actually isn't a bad movie, but it's just, you need the context,
Yeah.
Whereas there are other times where I will watch a movie and really love the movie walking into it, and then I watch it and I start analyzing it and I go, maybe this doesn't hold up. Maybe this isn't as good as I thought it was.
Yeah, and with this movie in particular, every time I watched it, I loved it. When I watched it and take notes to it, it's like, I don't know, maybe it wasn't such a great movie.
There are movies like we've mentioned several times on the podcast that you can't scratch the surface.
Yeah.
You can watch the movie and you can like it. But once you start trying to ask questions about, why did this happen? What does this mean? You ruin it because it doesn't hold up. Right. You can't go below that surface. Question number 3: what is the most important sequence in the movie?
To what? To the message? To the
just however you want to interpret that question.
In my opinion, the most important sequence would be. We'll make it as a scene. the best scene in the movie is him playing the song he wrote half when he was with Linda, half when they had broken up.
That's a good one.
Kind of the uneven. That's the best. Hey, I think they're looking for. So he doesn't want to. He doesn't want to do Wedding Singer anymore. He tells her, "Look, I was gonna sing at your wedding, but I'm done doing this. I need to find a real job. But I know a guy, John Levitt."
Right.
Let me quote something he said too, because I thought it was really funny.
So one of
Jimmy Moore was the name of the guy, and he finishes his tune "Ladies' Night," and he says, "This is Jimmy Moore signing off. Here to say, this ain't no sock in my crotch." What a guy! What a guy!
So he doesn't. It's not that he doesn't want to be a wedding singer anymore. They have the conversation they have is Drew Barrymore says, because she says, why did Linda leave you?
Yeah.
And well, because she couldn't see herself as a wedding singer. And she replies something along the lines of, "Well, did you always want to be a wedding singer? Is this what you always saw yourself doing?"
Yeah.
And he said, "No, I wanted to be a songwriter."
Oh, okay.
And that's where, well, have you written anything? And yeah, I wrote something, but I wrote half with her and half without her. And she talks him into singing it.
Yeah.
It's an amazing song. Is it on the soundtrack?
It is not on the soundtrack.
It should be.
I don't believe it is, no.
So, I think the most important sequence is probably him getting stood up at the altar. I mean, that really sets the whole movie into the storyline that happens and allows them to be together. So with that, let's jump into the debate. Was this a good movie?
This is, for somebody who's, hey, go watch this is a great movie. No, probably not. You have to be an Adam Sandler fan. You have to, you got to like the 80s, because it really, like I said, every song that's played or sung is an 80s song, and whoever picked them, whoever picked the music in this, they picked some great ones. And that's why not every movie gets a soundtrack album released to it, and I'd actually be curious to see how many of those sold, because I was funny you mentioned this. I was at a friend's house yesterday who's 50 in his 50s. We won't just throw his number out there. He's in his 50s, and I just said, yeah, I just got through watching Wedding Singer. I got to do a podcast tomorrow, and he goes, oh, I bought that soundtrack, and I said, no shit, me too. So I'm curious to see how many it sold.
So music for the film is done by Teddy Castellucci. He's a composer. He's done other movies such as Big Daddy, Little Nicky, Mr. Deeds, Home Alone 4, which is probably the pinnacle of his career, Anger Management, 50 First Dates, White Chicks, The Longest Yard. I mean,
so all Adam Sandler movies.
Yeah, tons of
Adam Sandler movies.
The Wedding Singer, first movie he ever did, 1998.
Oh, he did a damn good job.
Deuce Bigalow. He's done a lot of that type of movie.
Well, they're all Sandler.
Yeah. Was Deuce Bigalow a Sandler movie?
Yeah.
Really?
I want to say, well, it might not have been a Happy Madison, but it's one of his crew.
It's one of his crew.
Yeah.
It is the legendary Rob Schneider. Very funny actor.
You can do it!
So, scale of 1 to 10. What are you giving this movie?
I'm giving this movie a 7.
7.
Yeah.
And it's a good movie. I mean, 7, it's a C. That's a pretty good movie.
Yeah. It's a C+.
Here's the thing. We had touched on it a little bit earlier when you had mentioned about movies that you don't want to take notes during. That's really a lot of the movies that some of my guests pick are movies that, I loved this movie growing up. We gotta watch it. And then same thing with me. If you would have told me, what are your top 5 Adam Sandler movies, Wedding Singer is gonna be on that list.
Yeah.
Happy Gilmore, all of them, Big Daddy. But I haven't seen the movie in its entirety probably since high school.
Yeah.
And now I watch it and I'm like, Like, it's got some really good one-liners. It's got some great one-liners.
Yeah.
But the movie as a whole just doesn't stand up to me.
Right.
Was this a good movie? Yeah, I mean, listen, compared to some of the other movies we've covered on the podcast, this is definitely a good movie compared to those. Is this a movie that I hated watching? Absolutely not. Right. Is this a movie I would recommend to people? Sure. Like you said, if you're an Adam Sandler fan and you need a movie to watch, this is a movie to watch.
If it's on TV and you're trying to have a laugh.
Yeah, absolutely, because the one-liners are going to keep you entertained.
That's right.
I think my issue is when I look at my list of the top 10 movies we've covered so far, and
what's number 1?
Number 1 currently is Birdman.
Birdman. Who'd you do that with?
I did that with you.
No kidding.
That was a good movie.
Son of a gun.
So I have to look at this movie compared to number 10. Would I put this on the top 10 over, in this case, Draft Day, which is the new number 10 since 1917 came on the list? Which one would I rather watch? Honestly, that's a tough one because I like Adam Sandler in The Wedding Singer for the nostalgia reasons and the comedy reasons, but I think Draft Day holds up as a better plot-based movie.
Yeah.
So I you know what? I think I'm gonna have to keep Draft Day on there. I think if given the 2 and given an hour and a half of free time, I'd probably watch Draft Day again.
I mean, Costner.
Great actor. What do you think? Have you seen Draft Day?
I have seen Draft Day. Costner and Black Panther.
And yeah, Chadwick Boseman.
He's Black Panther.
He is Black Panther forever and always. R.I.P.
R.I.P.
Are you picking Wedding Singer over Draft Day?
Yes.
Really?
And that's just a personal preference.
Well, let's go through the list. Have you seen Sisters Brothers?
I have not.
Okay, so let's skip that one. What about Killing Him Softly?
I have not.
What about Wind River?
I have not.
Ladder 49.
I have.
Would you pick this over Ladder 49?
Yes.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow.
Like I said,
Ladder 49 is a great movie.
Right, but it's like we said in the beginning, it's one of my top 10. Just because it's the
what about
nostalgia.
Murder of Crows?
I'd probably pick Murder of Crows over this.
Good for you.
Yeah.
Great movie.
I love the suspense and drama.
Straight to DVD.
DVD.
I'm still amazed by that.
No kidding.
Murder of Crows was a straight to DVD movie.
Yeah.
Huh. Okay, so that wraps up our 3 questions. And that wraps up whether or not this was a good movie.
I have a did you know for you.
I would love to hear a did you know.
Did you know?
Hey, come take a seat at the campfire. You're not the only one who joins. I've got friends that come over sometimes, too. We talk about a ton of interesting things from geek culture. Then we cover some conspiracies or philosophical thoughts or monsters, We talked about Bigfoot in one episode. It's a lot of fun, so come join me at the Campfire Chats, a DFAT entertainment podcast hosted on Spotify and other fine places you find podcasts.
Now, mind you, I've done a lot of research on this movie, so
Okay.
I will tell you if I did know it.
Okay.
I'll tell you if I knew it prior to the research.
Okay. Adam Sandler, in his kind of band in this movie, he has a drummer and this and that, and then there's this transsexual.
Correct. Yep.
The transsexual. What the hell was it?
He's modeled after Boy George.
Boy George. Yeah, his name's George.
His name is George.
His name's George in the movie. Do you really Culture Club, right?
Right.
And that's the only song he knows, but he plays all sorts of instruments.
I love that gimmick.
Played by actor Alexis Arquette.
Correct.
Alexis Arquette is siblings with David Arquette, Courtney Arquette.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yes.
Famous family.
So you knew.
I did not know that was Alexis Arquette.
That's right.
Until I did the research.
Yep.
Once I did the research, it was one of those things. I was like, oh, of course it is. Like now that you say that,
right?
I
didn't know. I didn't know that until I looked. I went, oh, no kidding.
No shit. Yeah. She's actually been in a lot of things you don't realize.
As a male, though.
As usually, male. Yes. I think I don't know when her transformation happens. I don't know if this was prior to the transformation.
Yeah. No longer alive.
She passed away?
Passed away.
Get the hell out of here. Are you sure?
I'm sure.
Man, that's crazy. 2016.
Yeah.
She was in Bride of Chucky, Pulp Fiction. She was in Pulp Fiction?
As a man.
As a man. What would?
I think
she plays one of the guys that Samuel L. Jackson lights up. Get the hell out of here, man. That's crazy. She was in Buffy the Vampire Slayer as a vampire DJ, uncredited. Huh. That's crazy.
So you did know. I didn't get you. I didn't stop.
Well, I didn't know prior to doing the research.
Okay.
So interesting information there. So Adam Sandler goes on after The Wedding Singer. His next movie he does is Dirty Work, although he's uncredited, and then The Waterboy, where he plays Bobby Boucher.
Dirty Work. Is that with the Sheen in them?
No, Dirty Work is with what's his face from Saturday Night Live, Norm Macdonald.
Oh, okay.
Artie Lang.
How did you like on the Sandler vein? He's in a movie with Damon Wayans.
You talking about the white chicks?
No. He's in a movie. I think it's called Bulletproof.
Yeah. Okay, so right before Wedding Singer, he does Bulletproof, which is not a Happy Madison. I love that movie. It's a really good movie.
That is a good movie. Yeah.
Prior to that is Happy Gilmore, and then prior to that is Billy Madison. He does Billy Madison while doing Saturday Night Live. Yeah. It's actually his first movie post Saturday Night Live, I believe. And then prior to that, he did Mixed Nuts. Airheads.
Another
great movie.
Yeah.
I love that movie. That's another movie where, honestly, I haven't seen that all the way through in quite a long time. I wonder if that would hold up.
That's Brendan Fraser, too.
It is Brendan Fraser, young Brendan Fraser.
Young Brendan Fraser.
He's one of those actors.
Skinny Brendan Fraser.
So he leaves Hollywood, claims nobody would pick him up because of some sexual assault allegations he put out there. Great actor. He's one of those guys that he's supposed to be making a resurgence. He just got casted in a pretty big role, which I'll have to look up in order to tell you which one it was. But I hope he comes back because I thought he was a really good actor. The Mummy, what a great movie.
Yeah, The Mummy was great.
Yeah, he just got casted in The Whale, which is supposed to be a biopic on some famous guy. I don't know what it's about, but it's supposed to be a pretty big casting. It's in pre-production now. So we'll see where that goes. So without further ado, let's play your favorite game, Guess That Tomato.
All right.
So you know how this works. Rotten Tomatoes gives you a critic score and an audience score.
Yeah.
You're going to get an opportunity to guess the audience score for the 1998 movie Wedding Singer.
Yeah.
I'm going to throw out some hints.
Let me ask this about the Rotten Tomatoes score. Mm-hmm. Does it ever change?
It does change, yes.
Based on what?
Based on audiences going on there and scoring the movie.
Just reviews? Yeah. Okay.
So, I mean, you typically with a movie like this, it's been out for a long time, it's not going to fluctuate very much. Right. You got movies like when we covered King of Staten Island that had just come out. So I would imagine, although I haven't gone back and checked, I would imagine that movie has probably fluctuated quite a bit since we talked about it, 6 months ago.
Okay.
So what do you think audiences scored 1998's The Wedding Singer?
I mean, I gave it a 7, and I love the movie. I'll say 70.
70. Good guess. Okay. So I'm going to give you 3 movies that are plus or minus 2% of The Wedding Singer. Okay. So this is going to be in that 4-point range around the actual Wedding Singer score. Mm-hmm. Movie number 1, Don John.
Don John.
Joseph Gordon-Levitt's writing and directorial debut, where he stars alongside Scarlett Johansson and Julianne Moore as a young, porn-addicted New Jersey bartender.
Yeah.
Movie number 2.
Love Scarlett Johansson in that.
So do I. I actually like Julianne Moore better in that movie. Julianne Moore is one of those actresses that, I don't know, the older she gets, the more attractive she gets.
Yeah, I would agree. It's a redhead thing.
Probably not. Movie number 2, Pitch Perfect. The 2012 comedy sing-along about the Bellas and their effort to win the National College Acapella title. Mm-hmm. Did you ever compete in the acapella tournaments?
Never.
Would you?
Would I have?
Would you go acapella?
Yeah. Right now?
Do it. Go acapella right now.
What am I singing?
Fuck a beat. I'll go acapella.
Oh, okay.
Okay. Movie number 3.
We're not doing it.
Right. I give up. The Other Guys. Will Ferrell and Mark Wahlberg team up as the unconventional cop duo set out to prove that they have the right stuff. Mm-hmm. That was the tagline. These guys are setting out to prove they have the right stuff.
The right stuff.
I feel like that's a bad tagline for that movie. Great movie.
Yeah.
Bad tagline.
So I would say The Other Guys and Pitch Perfect got to be around 80. They're hovering around 80. Both good movies. Don John was probably closer to the 70 that I'm guessing. So, I don't know. Let's say 75.
75. That's your final answer?
Final answer.
The audience score on Rotten Tomatoes for 1998's The Wedding Singer is 80%.
80%?
80%. Isn't that crazy?
Kidding.
So
let's go.
Here's the thing. 80% for audience's score. Mm-hmm. It's got a 60 for critic score.
Critics, yeah.
69, excuse me. Which isn't bad. I mean, 64 reviews from critics, over 250,000 votes for audience members.
Wow.
We got some great reviews, such as "You Can't Help Pulling for the Kid." I mean, well put.
Yeah.
Finally, an Adam Sandler comedy that you can sit through without wanting to throw a mallet through the screen.
What?
At its best, it's a gentle, well-portrayed, feel-good film.
Yeah.
I mean, these are all positive reviews. Let's hear a negative one. The tone set by the director tends to be cartoonishly broad, while making jokes at the expense of grotesques. Not really sure how to get that. Audience reviews. Somebody gave it a 2 out of 5. Get some cheese balls, dunk it in Cheese Whiz, throw sharp cheddar cheese on top, and you get the Wedding Singer. Yep, so cheesy. Everything within the movie is cheesy.
So I agree with that. I do agree with that.
I love.
But
how
that's
they had
Adam Sandler. That's Adam Sandler.
That you're right, but he executes it a little bit better in other movies. I love that somebody sat down and wrote that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That makes me think that person has tried that.
Do you think he got, which sounds amazing, do you think he got through like the first 2 cheese references and was like, I need another one? Honey, you got another cheese reference I can use for this?
Yeah. Throw some cheddar cheese at it.
That's a good one. I'm going to write that down. Can I use that?
I mean, why not?
Why not? So, all in all, you like the film? You stand by your...
I like the film. Go buy the soundtrack. If you like 80s music, go buy the soundtrack because it's kind of a compilation of all the hits.
Did you hear that Adam Sandler signed another deal with Netflix? He's got like another 10 movies with them.
Really?
Yeah.
I'm very happy to hear that.
He's gonna rock out with Netflix until the end of his career.
But why not?
Why not? 100%. What?
Cash cow.
So you would say you're a movie fan, correct?
Yeah.
You've been a movie fan for a long time.
Yep.
What are your thoughts on Netflix and streaming services and the whole Warner Brothers HBO deal? Like, are you for this new format, or are you more of a traditionalist? Let's get back to the big studios and the cinema releases.
Yeah, it's like you just got to get with the times, you know, because Netflix, I was watching some whatever, the HGTV, and they're all on Discovery now. So now there's a Discovery streaming service. They're all going that way. Right. They're all going that way. And if you kind of add up the ones you like, you're probably paying around what you're going to pay for. By the time you got HBO, Netflix, Disney Plus, Discovery, whatever, you're probably paying $50-$60 a month.
Okay, so you got Napster supposedly kills the recording industry, and now everything's iTunes, and you're paying $1 per song.
Real quick, on this topic.
Yeah.
As soon as the credits roll in this movie, The Wedding Singer, what song is it? Video Killed the Radio Star.
True.
Let's go.
Very true. So then you have streaming services that are supposedly putting an end to movie theaters. How long until, with Peacock coming out and all these networks, are we going to get the death of the cable provider?
I think it's almost here. I think it's here, if not. So right now, I canceled cable. I do have Sling TV, which is kind of like a
cable-esque.
It's cable-esque, yeah. But very soon, very soon. And the only reason I got Sling is for football, to watch NFL football.
I mean, here's the issue. You can't jam down a package, in my throat of 100 channels.
What can you jam down your throat?
When 15 of those channels I'm going to be watching, and the rest of them I can do without.
Right.
They're either infomercials or I don't care about them.
Yep.
And then to replace that, I can spend the same amount of money like you said, and maybe I only get 15 channels, but it's the 15 I want. I can get Peacock and HBO and Netflix, and I have all this variety. I mean, I have 3 different streaming services, no cable, and we've been rocking that out for almost 3 years now. It's been great.
Yeah. And same with the movie theaters. It's not.
Here's why I don't think movie theaters are going anywhere. I think you're going to see a significant drop in attendance because you can start streaming these movies straight to your home with the HBO Warner Brothers deal. But number one, this is the first deal that happened, and it caused a humongous uproar in Hollywood because of it. And a lot of studios are saying they're not going to be working with Warner Brothers in the future because of it. But number two, a lot of these directors, like Zack Snyder, some of your high-end, more artsy directors, they're making movies for the cinema because they want the formatting and the pixel and the refreshers and the big subwoofers and the sound and all that shit.
Yeah,
they're making movies for the cinema. The afterthought is DVDs and buying the movie afterwards and watching your home. So I think because of that, you're still going to have some sort of core audience that is going to sit there and want to go to the cinema and pay the extra money to watch it in the theater. Yeah. Again, you might see a lot of the theaters close, but I think you're still going to wind up with a theater in each town for that base audience.
Yeah, personally, I prefer, and I mean, at our age, we're always going to prefer the theater. But now, the youngsters, they just want to stay home. They want to stay in their room, locked, with the lights off, and just watch whatever movie comes out. And I think it's really going to depend on what the actors and actresses are doing. So like Adam Sandler, he's strictly to Netflix. So if all of a sudden Denzel goes strictly to whatever, and these huge A-list actors are only making movies on these streaming services, who's left? New actors. So I think there's a level of that as well.
Yeah, you're right. I mean, for me, it comes down to what movie am I seeing? Who is the director? And that's going to determine, is it worth it to go to the movie? Like, if it's a director I know that is going to feed into that sort of genre or that sort of delivery method, then yeah, I want to see it in its glory. But if it's a director that it's a comedy that doesn't, I know they don't really give two shits, then yeah, maybe I'll watch it at home or I'll stream it on HBO. The other thing is HBO is coming late to the game. I mean, they've had 2 streaming services before. This is their 3rd one now, or maybe just a ramp up of one of the previous 2. They are, at this point, people are already buying Netflix, they're already buying Hulu, they're already buying Disney Plus. To tack on another one on top of that, I think the later to the game you come, the less likely you're going to be to get somebody to buy onto it without canceling something else. And if I'm going to cancel something else, you now need to be better than them.
Yep.
I need original content. And HBO is doing that with some of their movies. I think this Warner Brothers deal is going to be big, but we'll see.
What HBO is doing, at least I saw, the new Tom and Jerry movie.
Right.
Go see it in theaters or see it on HBO Max or whatever it is, HBO Go. So if they continue to do things like that, it's like, oh, well, here's my option for these new movies.
Well, they're doing that. So Warner Brothers and HBO, which have the same parent company, signed an exclusive contract where for the rest of the year, all movies that are due to come out from Warner Brothers will also stream same day on HBO. So that's Mortal Kombat, that's Justice League, Zack Snyder, that's Tom and Jerry. There's a slew of other movies.
So I think that's how they catch up.
Yeah. But I mean, again, the backlash they received, who knows if that goes on, past this year.
Right.
But okay, you and previous guests, it's a firm belief of the owners of Don't Forget a Towel that everybody geeks out on something.
Yeah.
Well, it may not be comic books and movies. Maybe it's singing at weddings and stealing some douchebag's fiance. So I've got to ask you, Will, what is it you're geeking out on right now?
All of the above. Right now, I just finished season 3 of Stranger Things. Absolutely love that series. And Shameless. I'm in season 5 of Shameless. I know there's a lot more. I think they're in season 11 right now. So
which is the last one, I believe.
The last one, yeah. So Shameless, Netflix, and Stranger Things.
Is it first time watching Stranger Things?
It is.
Would you binge watch all 3 seasons?
Well, I just binged all 3 seasons, so would I do it again? Sure.
Yeah, Stranger Things is pretty good. Shameless, Shameless is a long series.
Yeah.
And it was recommended to us by another friend of ours. We started watching it probably over a year ago. We've watched a couple episodes, then we'll go on to something else, then we'll come back to it. So we actually just finished season 4 last night. Mm-hmm. So we're on season 5, episode 1. We took a big hiatus because we went on to Schitt's Creek. We watched Schitt's Creek for a little while. Mm-hmm. And we have 2 seasons left of that as well. But cool, man. I'm anxious to see what happens in Shameless. Don't spoil it for me.
I won't. It gets good.
It's been good. I love. I forgot the main actress's name, but I love her in this. All right. Well, thank you so much for hanging out with me and talking to me about Wedding Singer and the recommendation, man.
Of course, man. Thank you.
You've got Gutsy Media Podcast. Leave a message about any movies you covered, and maybe we'll add it to the show. Thanks.
Let me take you down a trip to memory lane. Wedding Singer. The 80s. It don't get no better. Adam Sandler's best movie. Better than Happy Gilmore. Better than the other shit he's done with David Spade and the fat guy from King of Queens. It's his best movie. There's no doubt about it. Drew Barrymore, delicious. The blonde-haired girl, equally delicious. Adam Sandler, hilarious. It is so good, in fact, that we use the saying at the end, the song, as our wedding vows. That's how impactful Wedding Singer is to my life. Best movie of Adam Sandler's career. The best movie of the 80s, even though it was made in the early 2000s. It's the best. Ain't no doubt about it. Peace out.